Well, I wasn't going to make another video on ULTRAKILL until the full game was out, but if a vinyl for the Act 1 OST is going to sit right there for pre-order, I might as well do another to justify buying it. So, what's been happening with the game recently? Okay, I can work with this. Today we continue our no equip challenge that we started in the last video, however long ago that was. This time we will revisit levels that can have further optimizations made, visit the new Encore levels, and as alluded to, cover the 2 Prime Sanctums that are available. Ugh. After that we will discuss the remaining arm uses and the potential true minimum as of right now. If you haven't seen the initial video on the no equip challenge, I highly suggest watching it first, as it tells how we got to where we are now. The link will be in the description for easy access, so check it out if you haven't. Now then, cue the intro. Now then, we have one last thing we need to do, and that is something to ultra revamp our visuals. You see, the graphic we had before is nice, but I can't fit much more on screen. So let me just... There we go! We have a lot more sleek visuals while also providing a nice timeline. This is to make note of all the versions of the game that are needed to make this run possible, which I feel is just as important as the number of arm uses itself. Now then, for real. Let's get this show started with a revisit to O-3, Double Down. Before, when we visited this level, we had to parry a projectile from a stray to get to the Swords Machine boss fight. I thought that this one arm use was required, at least until a helpful speedrunner gave a suggestion in the comments. They pointed to version 6 of the game that came out on April 13th, 2021. This was the version of the game that added the first Prime Sanctum, but notably for us, it features a bug called filth clipping. If you ever wondered where the trick from 4-3 Shot in the Dark comes from where it says, filth is gone, this is it. All it takes is one filth, and preferably a corner, and with a bit of luck, the filth can just shove you outside of the map. The problem is that generally we get pushed out too low to be able to do anything with it. Thankfully, the room we start every level in is very useful for being slightly elevated compared to the room it leads into. With that, we can clip out of the map, head up to the Swords Machine, stomp into Oblivion, and cut our arm uses down to 13. Next up on our list is 1-2, the Burning World. Initially, when we went through this level, we clipped out after grabbing the Red Skull. Thankfully, there's a nice little thing called the Filth Clip again. We can do it right here where the Blue Skull would go, cutting out another arm use. This is the only other level we are revisiting, meaning our main campaign total is 12 arm uses. Yeah, that's it. I kinda hyped up this section a bit too much, but hey. Removing 14% of the arm uses we did have is still pretty good. So, what now? Oh, yeah, new levels. Let's do those. For 0-E, this evil heat, we have 2 skulls that are needed to thaw the ice at the beginning of the level that leads to the exit. That means 4 arm uses along with that whole heat mechanic eating away at our maximum health because we can't clear rooms fast, and oh my god, this is awful. Okay, we need a good strategy. Wild idea. A lot of the rooms in the level are basically just copy-paste of where they were featured in the prelude. During my searching for out-of-bounds clips in 0-3 prior to learning about filth clips, I found this thing here. Funnily enough, we can get to the same room in the Encore level by just using the Knuckle Blaster once to break this glass and head to the right. From there, we can clip out of bounds, grab this checkpoint, and skip directly to the Radiant Cerberus fight, ending the level with 1 arm use. That 1 arm use, though, is a little too much for me. So instead, I'm going to real quick tack on another down patch to the timeline. This time we will be jumping to the release of the Ultra Revamp update. By going to the release version, we can clip out in the first arena of the level by clipping through the top of the level. I couldn't get this done though. So instead, I call back to 7-1 Garden of Forking Paths tactic, but this time set my frame rate to as low as I can possibly get it. I'm not sure how this was found, but if you do this and slam in just the right way at this doorway, you can just kind of clip through the floor sometimes. It's weird, but once out, we are kind of too low for the checkpoint. Given that it is inconsistent even getting out of the map, I usually am never prepared to act fast. So what do? Use the weapon swap key to slow down my game, spend a dash to get to these pipes, wall jump to gain height, and then stagger my dashes to just barely get this checkpoint. From there, we can do the clip that I mentioned earlier here. I suggest getting rid of the Virtue before doing it, as fighting 2 Radiant Cerberus with a soon-to-be enraged Virtue is a big mistake. So we do all that just to cut out 1 arm use. Now, before we jump into the next level, I feel like it would be a good time to ask you to subscribe if you haven't. I absolutely will cover this game again when the full game, or maybe even just the next update, comes out, and I have a feeling you'll want to stick around if you've watched this much so far. Anyways, how about 1-E, then fell the ashes? Like the previous level, there are 2 skulls that are needed to complete it, and I haven't really found a way to clip out of the map. Hey, remember when I said we needed to down patch? Yeah, we're doing that now. When this level came out, it was excessively broken. There were tons of ways to break the map, but we are going to settle with my personal favorite. Get through the first arena, grab the checkpoint, open the door to the next room, and just reload at the checkpoint. After that, just walk to the doors behind you, open them, and then reload the checkpoint again. Upon trying to progress through the level, you'll see that it deloaded. From there, we can dodge a gutter tank and just go outside of the level with no issue. Where we need to go is that area with the not-so-secret hideous mass sticking out the bottom. A simple slam storage into a dive gets the job done, and we can get into the boss fight. While I cannot speak much on the difficulty of the fight, I have to advise not going to the left side of the arena right now. There is a checkpoint in an earlier part of the level we could accidentally grab, and we want to not do that. Instead, just fight Agony and Tundra on the right side and have them take the brunt of the hideous mass's attacks. Once both of those are taken down, the cage for the idol will open. Despite what you may think, we can actually use a slam to break the idol, giving radiance to the mass and starting the end of our fight. This is where we now intentionally grab the checkpoint I said to avoid. Doing this after the idol is broken will freeze the AI of the hideous mass. This allows us to wail on it until it enrages. From there, it's easy enough slamming into it and completing 1-E with no arm uses. Now that that's done with, we've done every level. Okay, fine. P-1, Sole Survivor. Hey, so we have to use an arm to grab and place down the torch. Boom, 2 arm uses already. How about the boss? No! Look, I tried. At best, I was able to clear out almost all of the eyes before a heal cycle was done. I just don't have the skill to do that and fight the boss at the same time and avoid all the stuff the flesh prison throws at me. So just for the sake of this video, I dropped the difficulty from standard to harmless. This spawns a lot less eyes that move a lot less often. With this difficulty change, we can clear out both the Flesh Prison and Minos Prime, leaving the level with 2 arm uses. And for anyone that comments about the difficulty choice, the Prime Sanctums aren't going to be normally accessed in this challenge due to the impossible standards to P rank with only a slam, so I can pick whichever difficulty I want just for proving the minimum. Anyways, we have one last level to take on, the so-called hardest level in the entire game that has broken the spirits of many people. P-2, The Weight of the World. We can immediately drop the arm uses from 2 to 1 by avoiding the entire level and taking the shortcut to the boss, using the Knuckle Blaster to break the glass and get into the boss room. That's cool and all, but I want to get from that 1 to a 0. But let me tell you, this is a very involved process. The first step is to be on the release version of the Ultra Revamp update, which works out considering that we need that for the Encore levels. This is because there just isn't collision at the top of the level, meaning that we can get one of the easiest out of bounds in the entire game. From here, we can try to go to the boss room, and we can if you luck out with the checkpoint. I am bad at fighting Sisyphus Prime though, and I think dropping the difficulty to harmless again is lame as heck, so we're going to do it a much cooler way. Instead of fighting a really hard boss, do the Cerberus X Virtues featuring Ferryman room. It'll be rough, but it is possible after enough tries. After that, grab the checkpoint. This is to have our respawn point be outside of the starting room if we fall out of bounds, which is needed for later. Once you've done that, go back to the beginning of the level and go down the shortcut path. To be effective, go all the way to the end, and then back to the first room of the level. What we did was that we loaded the final rooms of the level, but notably not the arena for the boss. Next, we are going to go out of bounds through the method mentioned before, and through the door that goes from the idled Stalker arena that isn't loaded, and into the elevator that lowers you down to the doors you need to open to get to the boss arena. Open the doors and go far enough in to see the boss room load, but do not grab the checkpoint. Instead, you are going to reload to your last checkpoint, which will be after the first arena of the level. Go back to the beginning and go out of bounds again. This time you'll see that the boss room has loaded. The game seems to keep it loaded if you respawn anywhere besides the start of the level, which explains why we did the Cerberus room. From there, slam storage into a dive to get on top of the room. There isn't a way to get in, but we can still spawn the Flesh Panopticon. Hug the side of the arena as you slide down, and dash toward the wall if you start free-falling. You should spawn the boss. From there, be quick as you're on a timer. Slam storage into a dive back to the main level, avoiding the virtue beams the boss spawns. Stay in the first room to have the space to dodge more beams, and when Sisyphus wakes up, go to the shortcut path. This Tunnel of Doom with the lightning is very dangerous as it instantly annihilates anything that touches it. When the fight starts, jump into the middle of the room and stall in the air for as long as possible. If you do it right, Sisyphus will hit part of the tunnel and instantly be defeated. From there, all you need to do is fall out of the map and respawn in the boss arena with the exit open, allowing you to beat P-2 with no arm uses and little opposition. So with that, we have reduced and re-raised the total arm uses to 16. As promised though, I want to take one last look at the arm uses that are left and do a little theorizing on ways to reduce the count even more. Our first stop is 1-1, Heart of the Sunrise. The current route we take has us grabbing the red skull and placing it down so we can get to a checkpoint that allows us to deload the level. That's pretty good, but it's still 2 arm uses. There are 2 possible solutions I can think of to cut the count to 0. The first is to find a way out of the map without grabbing any of the skulls. There's a lot of weird terrain and collision and whatnot, so who knows. The other is to find a way to trigger the secret exit without moving the fountain. If we play on older versions of the game, taking the secret exit will actually unlock the second level of Limbo, completely bypassing the need to get the skull at all. This is all speculation though, and as far as I know, no method has been found. Next on our list is 2-4, Court of the Corpse King. You need to place the skull to load the boss, which, upon defeat, loads the exit. I see no way around this, so I feel this level is optimized. For 4-2, Goddamn the Sun, we have 2 arm uses we need to do to go to the secret exit. Given that the secret exit doesn't load until we turn it to night, and the regular exit doesn't load until we beat the Sisyphean Insurrectionist, which requires 2 skulls and thus 4 arm uses, this level is optimized. Following immediately after is 4-3, A Shot in the Dark. Of the 3 arm uses, 2 are absolutely required, as we cannot load the exit without clearing the final arena, which in turn needs to have a torch or a skull. That uses 2 arm uses either way, so those 2 are locked in. The only arm use we could cut is the one that lights the bowl that opens the first set of doors. Given that speedrunners resorted to clipping with a filth rather than getting an out of bounds magically being found at the start of the level, I'm going to say that this level is completely solved. In 4-4 Clair de Soleil, we need to whiplash a specific point to spawn enemies to load the exit. This arm use is locked in, no matter how hard we might try to avoid it. For 5-2 Ways of the Starless Sea, we need to pick up and place down the blue skull to raise the ship, then fight the ferryman to load the exit. I did check around with no clip to see if the ship was under the water, but it was not loaded, so we have no way to access the ferryman, even if we were to somehow get below the waves. 6-1 Cry for the Weeper has potential if a different way to get out of bounds is found prior to the red skull. For now, though, it's stuck at 1 arm use. 7-2 Light of the Night can only be possible if an out-of-bounds clip is found before the Whiplash Gate. Very unlikely, but I figured that I should make a note. Finally, for P-1, we have the torch. If we can find a way to get into the boss room without the torch, it could cut both arm uses out. It is possible through a lot of stumbling to get into the room where the torch goes, but from there, I'm stumped. And that's it. Of the 16 remaining arm uses, I believe 10 to be absolutely required to complete the game, with the other 6 as almost certainly needed. This could always change with future discoveries and will change with new levels, so for now, all I can say is thank you for watching. For credits, I only have to thank Kano for the assistance on the arm saves in 0-3 and 1-2, and you for watching. I have been Generic Mystic with a simple 16 arm uses across 33 levels, and until we meet again on the interwebs.